Okay. Again, good afternoon. Thank you for those that are joining us. We have a lot that are still coming in to the session today. We are so glad that you are here for our fifth session of our Purple Star Campus Support Professional Learning Community, which is preparing for redesignation, or if this is your year to apply again for your Purple Star Campus designation. Or if you're new to the process. So we're excited for this. Our professional learning communities are a great way for our educators to collaborate with and tap into a network of peers and partners to support our military connected students. This new PLC has really been designed for school professionals and educators at campuses across Texas that have either earned or are working towards that Purple Star Campus designation. This is a great knowledge sharing model. We like it because it really brings together a network of learners, subject matter experts, and peers from multiple focus areas. And I can see so many of you in the chat box. It looks like we have school counselors, we have some teachers, some parent liaisons, student to student coordinators. So love seeing so many of you joining us in different roles. And at the end of our session today, you'll have the opportunity to identify potential solutions to common challenges related to the Purple Star Campus program. As a reminder, we will be reserving the last 30 minutes for our office hours. So please feel free after our session today to stay on and ask questions. It's a great time to just be able to one-on-one, be able to kind of chat about the Purple Star Campus designation. If you have attended a previous session, welcome back. If you're new, again, thank you for joining us. We appreciate that. And you could put that in the chat as well. You could share if this is your first session. We'd love to know that. So a little bit about ourselves. My name is Nikki Harrison. I'm the project manager in education services at the Military Child Education Coalition, or commonly referred to as MSEC. Our mission is to support all military-connected children by educating, advocating, and collaborating to resolve the education challenges associated with the military lifestyle. Our vision is that we would love for every military-connected child to be college, work, and life ready. I'm an adult military child, military spouse, and raising two military-connected kiddos. And I'm going to introduce Marie McGarry, my colleague.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so happy to be with you again today. Like Nikki, I am a active duty Army spouse and a proud mom to two military connected college students. And I always love to be with Texas educators. I got my start with MSEC in Texas out in El Paso. And in a former life, I like to say I was an elementary classroom teacher for 10 years. So always happy to be with educators. So glad to be with you today.
Wonderful. Thanks, Marie, so much. And we have Kim Armstrong, who is with us as well. She's an educator in education services and working in the background. We also have Terry Whitten, who's with us as well. And so she'll be staying on in the office hours. And I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Lay to introduce herself.
Hi, thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. My name is Dr. Ann Lay. I am the manager of the Highly Mobile and At-Risk Student Programs and also the lead for our military connected student programs, including our Purple Star. So super excited to have this PLC session today. It is a good preemptive start to lead us into our Purple Star interest meeting that you will hear about that will be scheduled for next month. And looking forward to all the applications that are going to be coming in for the 26-27 application window. With that, I want to go ahead and hand it over so you guys can get the content.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Lay. We appreciate you being here. So a little bit about the collaboration and the partnership that we have together really with the Texas Education Agency. We are honored and so proud to be able to work together in support of military connected students and families across Texas. We have designed this PLC series that you're in the last session today. We've done professional development trainings. We actually have one coming up, our final one for the year in March. We have office hours, and everything that we do at MSEC is research and evidence-based in regards to the tools and resources that we build as we share best practices. So that's something that's really important to us here at MSEC. Our PLC series really has been a collaboration that's providing, again, those professional development and office hours. And really our overall goal is to provide coaching, support, and strengthened guidance. Our learning objectives for today are we are going to review all of the Purple Star Campus designation components. We feel like that's really important, especially as you're preparing for this application window that'll be opening up soon. We hope that you understand what makes an exemplary Purple Star Campus program. So that's important as well. And especially if this is your first time going through that application process, and explore some available resources really to assist in that application process. So towards at the end of the session, we'll go through all those resources. Marie?
Thanks so much, Nikki. So during this fifth and final session, our hope is that you all will leave here with a clear understanding of all of the required components for applying for the Purple Star Campus designation. So I do have a question for you I'd like to start off with is why is a Purple Star Campus designation important? So we would love for you to put that in the chat box. Why is it important? Why is it important to your campus? Maybe why is it important to you personally to see this happen? What's your why, I think is the question. I love that. For the sake of the military child. Parents and students know that someone has their back, support our military connected students, help show that there's support, care about them. I love that. Embrace student leaders, all military supported and valued. Excellent. Many resources, yeah. Support our military families in our district. Excellent, excellent answers. And everyone, certainly that motivation is there to make sure that our military connected students and families feel supported within our school communities. Wonderful. So the Purple Star Campus designation recognizes Texas school districts and open enrollment charter school campuses that show their support and commitment to meeting the unique needs of our military-connected students and their families. Any Texas school can become a Purple Star campus, regardless of the size of its military-connected student population. Districts are encouraged to support campuses and help them to meet their criteria for Purple Star campus designation status. So according to Texas Education Code Section 33909, a campus may qualify for a Purple Star designation if the campus demonstrates certain required supports and resources for its military-connected student population. By taking these actions, states can drive continuous improvement, facilitate collaboration, provide necessary resources, gather data for evaluation, allocate targeted funding, and prioritize family engagement, all of which contribute to effective support and success of military-connected students and their families within the Purple Star Campus Designation Program. So in order to be designated by TEA as a Purple Star campus, the campus must satisfy each of the following requirements. The campus must designate an assigned staff member as the campus-based military liaison. The campus must create and maintain an easily accessible webpage that includes information for military-connected students and their families. They must also have a program that provides support to military-connected students through a campus-based military liaison or peer-to-peer mentoring program. And then finally, the campus must offer a resolution showing support, for military connected students and families, participation in the month of the military child or military family month, or a partnership with a school liaison to encourage and provide opportunities for active duty military members to engage with local schools. So there are many benefits of a Purple Star campus, which are reflected in the findings from the MSEC CPEARL, the Center for Public Research and Leadership Purple Star Research Report that was conducted in 2022. The report, and I'm sure those of you that have the designation or are working towards that designation certainly know that the Purple Star campus program's true value derives from its potential to centralize and make knowledge accessible. Many of you mentioned that in your comments earlier in the chat box, to develop stakeholder networks, and then also to support schools in cultivating and communicating cultural competency and supporting our military connected families. So I'm going to turn it back over to Nikki, and she has another chat question for you.
Thanks, Marie. I was asked if the slide deck, real quickly, and the recording will be made available, and the answer is yes. It will be online, and towards the end of our session today, we'll share that link where you can find this session as well as the 4 previous ones. So don't worry, we'll make it available to you. But we'd love for you to share in the chat box what types of activities could be considered exemplary practices. We've talked about those components, why it's important, what the benefits are. What are some activities, if you could share with us, that would be considered exemplary practices? Maybe some things that you're doing at your campus that you're going kind of above and beyond what those Purple Star campus designation components are. Love this monthly lunch bunch group for military kids. Lunch is a really pivotal time of day for military connected kids, especially if you're new. I see citywide Veterans Day celebrations, military parent night. Love the high school JROTC mentorship. Great way to kind of tap into those student volunteers as well. Oh my gosh, so many things. Ambassadors Club, new student orientation, an S2S summer welcome team to welcome new students and spend time with them before school begins. Love that. Keep them coming. We love to see all the different ideas. Those that are here, if you see something that's really interesting, you could always do a direct message and ask someone about something that they're doing. So I love that. Yes, all of those activities could be considered exemplary practices that really focus on involving families, community members, and fostering a supportive environment within your school. So I love that, and your campus. So some other exemplary practices extend beyond the 4 Purple Star campus designation components, and they generally, again, focus on those families and community members. Some other practices that we have on the next slide, just to kind of build out some of the things that you've said: military appreciation or recognition events for students and families. It looks like so many of you are doing some of those things. I love the idea of having something in the summer. The majority of military families, PCS, permanent change of duty station, they move in the summer. Summer can be a really hard time for our military kids. So I love that you have something in the summer. That's nice. Parent involvement opportunities and activities, PTAs, PTOs, a version of those are a great way to bring parents in. I always say the best volunteer that you can find is a military spouse. We can do incredible things when we volunteer. So tap into those parent involvement opportunities. Partnerships with supportive community organizations. I think this is great, especially if you can get local community organizations involved. I've seen, where there's been like a local VFW that has helped with things, or USO, or Earlier, we were talking about the Boys and Girls Club and how they do some things with military installations and military kids. So partnering with those local community organizations is important. And a commitment to sustainability and upkeep of existing supports for military connected students. So the idea is that with this Purple Star Campus designation, we want your program to be sustainable. We want you to raise the bar every, year or every couple of years. You're doing some things different. You're adding some different exemplary practices into your program, and you're making it a program that lives on for hopefully a really, really long time at your campus. And that is really our hope with your Purple Star Campus designation program, is that you're not just getting that designation, but you're having that and you're focused on the families. I'm going to turn it over to Marie for our problem of practice.
Terrific. This has been one of my favorite aspects of these PLCs, and it's a great opportunity for us to work together in small groups and talk about some real life challenges that different schools and individuals have faced to get their Purple Star Campus designation and strategize together. So our problem of practice is a real case presentation and that opportunity for joint problem solving. And we are going to give you all an opportunity to discuss and to deepen your understanding of the situation. So we are going to ask you to share some reflections and recommendations in the problem of practice. And then at the end of the session, we will discuss the recommendations from the group. And because we are a large group, we will be moving into breakout rooms so that we can have some discussions in a little bit smaller and more intimate setting. So we'll break into those in just a minute. But I do want to share with you our case study for today. So the case study is my campus is pursuing the Purple Star Campus designation to recognize and strengthen our commitment to supporting military connected students and families. So we are going to be starting the application process soon and feel a little bit overwhelmed by all of the requirements. So this school is finding some challenges with locating and verifying documentation. So the required components have been completed, but there isn't any centralized document. So that has been a challenge for this school. They also are struggling a little bit to provide written narratives and tangible artifacts. And then finally, they are coming up against some time constraints, balancing that application process with the ongoing responsibilities and duties. So maybe this sounds familiar to some of you, or this has been an experience if you've are looking to redesignate again, maybe this was challenging your first time around. So some questions that we will be discussing in our small groups are, what are some ideas that you have found has worked well for you in keeping track of the documentation needed for the Purple Star Campus designation application? What are some tools? What are some methods that you have used? So we'll have some discussion about that. And then how can you create a team to assist with the application process? So what are some ideas and recommendations for people that you would want to reach out to? Who are you going to look at being part of your team? And we've talked about this in some previous PLCs, some helpful folks to have on the team through this process. And then finally, we'll have an opportunity to brainstorm together some other ideas for ways that you can raise the bar for your Purple Star program for next year. So we'll have an opportunity to talk about some of those. So Nikki, I think, is going to move us into those breakout rooms, and then we'll have an opportunity, I think about 10 or 12 minutes or so, Nikki, to discuss this, and then we'll come back to the large group like we have before and have an opportunity to share out some of the great ideas that we've discussed.
Okay, wonderful. I'm going to move everyone into breakout rooms. You will have Marie, myself, Dr. Lay, and Terry in one of your rooms. And this time we have some extra time. So it's going to be more like 17 minutes
Awesome.
in your breakout room. So I've opened them. You should see a notification to move to your room. Okay, we have so many of you joining back with us in our larger group. Hopefully you had a nice breakout session. I think that's the longest one we've been able to have, so I'm appreciative of that. And we'll give it a few more minutes for everyone to join back in. Okay. I would love, as everyone's joining, if there is someone from room one, if you can remember if you were in room one,
I have no
to,
idea what room I was.
I don't know.
So we were room one, so I had lots of great responses. So I'm gonna
Okay,
won't call
okay.
anybody out, but they know who they are. So
Okay. Okay, room one. If you, what about the first question? Any ideas for keeping track of documentation for the Purple Star Campus designation application?
One of the ideas was the electronic binder, because a lot of times we're trying to keep update with throughout the year, all the events and everything. And if we have our documents and our photos, we can tab and we can re-reference throughout the year. I think that's a good application to use because I've been where trying to get all the documents and pull everything together at the last minute when answering the application questions, it gets to be a little challenging. So I think that would be very helpful.
Love it. That's great. Thank you so much. I know my room talked about a Google Drive, using a version of a Google Drive to kind of keep everything in. Okay, thanks so much. What about room two? How can you create a team to assist with the application process? Is there a team? Do you have someone at the district level? Anyone that helps? Do you remember room two? I think maybe you were in room two, Terry.
Okay. Well, we had lots of good ideas for team members. We were lucky to have Pete LaPiba in our room, and he shared that one of your best team members might be a veteran owned business or a military connected spouse owned business because they can contribute in a lot of ways, particularly by donating goods and services or by just adding their expertise. We talked about having those support people on your campus that can sometimes see your students in a little different light, like the cooks in the cafeteria or the custodians that interact with your kids sometimes in the hallways. Um, all of those bus drivers, um, school secretaries, all of those people that support and then your faculty members that are veterans or military spouses, those are also great team members. I emphasize that we don't want anybody to be a uh, a Purple Star Lone Ranger. We want you to have a team, and it's meant to be something that you have more than just one person working on.
I love
I love that.
Yeah, I loved one of the people in my group said that she was very strategic and she found people, she knew what her strengths were, and then she was finding people that that had different strengths. And so that they were uniting those strengths together, which I thought was great.
I think that's great. And I love that Purple Star Lone Ranger, Terry. I don't know if that was you or somebody else, but I'm going to use that. In our group, I will say there was someone that talked about there being someone at the district level. We asked, do you have someone at the district level that's kind of assisting the campuses? They said they're a smaller school district, so they do have someone that holds trainings and workshops. Someone talked about someone else reviewing the application, having another set of eyes on it before it gets submitted. So I love that. The question in the chat was about electronic binders. I put electric binder, excuse my typo. And I think that is meaning like a Google Docs or a Google Drive or something like that, right? Yes, okay. Okay, what about group four? Brainstorm other ideas for raising the bar if you were in room four, group four for the Purple Star program. Anyone sharing from that
I
one?
I can share. My group was group 4. I can share what the group discussed. One of the vision for next year is having a month long, like every day, different themed. In the month of April, the month of Military Child, something related to a celebration. And this was something that I observed at a couple of districts that I had done Purple Star site visits at, and the one thing that's really good about that, if you can work through it, I would say start with week by week. That might be easier than day by day, but I mean month long thing. But it brings together their non-military connected peers to join in on, the awareness and the knowledge and understanding of some of the things, the challenges, the barriers that our military connected students face. And so bringing in and elevating that school culture of just supporting military connected students and all students in general.
Nikki,
Yes.
we had Nikki Osborne, who is a superstar S2S advisor in our group, and she shared an idea that I absolutely loved. She said, I think it was in month of the military child. They hosted a letters from home for our military students where parents wrote them a letter and we gave it to them during month of the military child. There was not a dry eye in the building. It was a very healing time because many of them did not realize how much their parent appreciated them. I thought that was a fantastic idea. And we also had someone, and I love that. I had never, that's not something I've ever heard of in a month of the military child toolkit or anywhere else. And then another person in our group shared that they have parents send a blurb about where they have been to include duty stations along with pictures. And then he created a slide deck and had it playing during lunch times and during their luncheon that they had during month of military child. So I thought that was a great idea as well, and that was something different and new that I had not heard of before. So those were great ideas.
Yeah, I love those. And I love the letters from home. I think that's a sweet activity, but one that I probably wouldn't be able to make it through either without crying. Great ideas. I really love that. I'll just highlight, I've already highlighted a few things from our group, or we were room 3, group 3. One of the things that I wanted to say though is we had an attendee, Miss Bernice, who said she's a new liaison this year and she's getting some assistance from other liaisons that have been in the role for a while, but she's also using it as a way for her to plan out how she'd like to have her Purple Star Campus program look. So she's kind of like using that. She'll be applying this year and kind of making it, be kind of how she'd like to see it, new ideas, do some things a little bit different. And so I love that. I love the positive kind of outlook. Like she's in this role, she's new, she's learning from others and kind of taking all that knowledge and that information in and developing her program out to make it to really make it fit her campus. So I thought that was great. I liked the positivity of that, because it can be overwhelming if you're in this role and you're hired into the position and you don't have anyone else that was previous that you could ask questions from. Okay, great. So much. Well, we appreciate you all for the time in the breakout rooms. It's one of the pieces of feedback that we've received through this whole PLC series is that everyone loves the time to be able to collaborate and talk with peers and get ideas. And so we hope you've appreciated the time that we've been able to provide for that. And so just a few Purple Star Campus program recommendations that we'd like to kind of review. These are again from that MSEC and CPEARL report, which I put the link to a little bit earlier in the chat. But again, using that application process to drive continuous program improvement, looking at sustainability and having your program exist for a very long time, being able to collaborate and connect with other schools and districts, which we hope, again, this professional learning community series has been able to provide for you that space to do just that. Supporting the development of a repository of schools and districts training materials, providing quarterly guidance for that dedicated campus military family webpage that came up in our group about the webpage being of importance, and making sure that they have that correct and the information that's needed on there. Some continued recommendations, reviewing and analyzing any academic and social emotional data regarding military connected students. One of the things I'd like to highlight with this is with the work that myself and Dr. Lay have done with our Education Service Center military champions at all of your regions. We've really put an emphasis on data and providing that to them so that as they're working in their local school systems, that they can assist you with that. So I really think I'd like to highlight that because I think that's been great. Engaging your families in your program planning and requirements, reviewing tools, annual timeline and calendar. We went over some of those in our last session, planning out the school year, and then reviewing the asynchronous Purple Star Rise TEA Learn course. And we'll share that link a little bit later, but if you have not had the opportunity to go through that course, it's a really great one. So I think it's been really good. These are great recommendations. And then Marie's going to go over some resources and tools.
Yeah, there's lots of great resources here for you. I've been so impressed with the wealth of resources that Texas is providing. So this first one is frequently asked questions about the Purple Star designation. So, what does the campus military liaison have to be an employee of the local school district? So all of those questions that you might have. And then that timeline. I know the timeline came up in our small group discussion. So, just lays it out. If you're looking to organize a binder, if you're, these are some of the things and suggestions for what should we have done in August, what should we have done in September. So both of those are PDFs that are available for you there. So we would recommend taking a look at that information, and Kim is putting all of the links in this chat box as well, and then it's also part of your Padlet. This is great in terms of acronyms. We have a lot of them in the military, we know, but this is key terms, definitions, acronyms for educators. So, if a family comes in and says, we have to PCS in 2 months, but my husband's TDY, and you're like, what? So that information is there for you, school support resources. And then Texas law and policy requirements in supporting military connected students. So again, helping you to understand that why and where this is coming from at the state level. So that information is there for you as well. And then other helpful resources, the web page, for a couple of people said that was a challenge. So these resources here, opportunities that you can include for professional development training, and then resources that you can share on your website, gives you some ideas of some things to include on that website. And then we did have a PLC earlier about the web page itself. So that information is there for you again on our Padlet. So you can go back and refer to that or rewatch that or review that information as well. So that's all there for you. And then I'm going to turn it back over to Nikki to talk about the application process.
Yeah, so there's a ton of resources again that we are going to be going over. So don't feel overwhelmed. We'll be able to, we'll provide the Padlet at the end. The Padlet is a collaboration tool for us, but we'll send out all of these links. We send an email after the session, and so we'll have all of those in there as well. But this is a great website that Kim put in the chat box that has, again, resources for applying for the Purple Star Campus designation. I will say these last few resources that we are going to be talking about are found on the TEA website under the HMAR section, but the military resources, the real military family resources. So there's a lot to kind of navigate there, but there's a lot of information. So this is a great one. That little plus sign that you see, this is a screenshot. You click on that and then it's a drop down menu and then there's a ton of resources underneath that. So keep that in mind. The next slide. Okay, so we wanted to talk about the Purple Star Campus, the application information and when the window opens. So the window will be May 1st through the 29th. And so as a note, applications will not be accepted after May 29th. Applications can only be accepted through that Qualtrics survey link. So again, keeping that in mind, we highly encourage you all to use the Purple Star Campus designation application planning document. And so that's a great document that has information to use that. There's also some additional resources that have been developed for you to plan out your responses for submission. And to max, yes.
Nikki, I just wanted, when you get this, and Kim's going to drop the link to the deck because it's available for you. But where you see Purple Star application planning document, guys, that is the PDF of the application itself. So when you download that, you can start a document and start like drafting out your things because whatever is on that PDF, that is your application. So when the application officially opens on May 1st at midnight, May 1st, it's going to open. It's set to open. You can see that it is word for word. That is your application. So you have the application available right now. You just can't submit anything. So take a look at that PDF and just start early if you can.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Dr. Lay. I think that's great information so that they can go ahead and start that. I know someone said, oh, somebody's put LOL, I'm doing that right now. So yeah, I mean, I think it's great. If you can start early, get everything in order. One of the pieces of advice from someone in my group was stay organized. That really helps with the application process. So start early. I think that's great. The next slide is the timeline for the Purple Star Campus application window. I love this because I am a visual person and I like to see things visually. So it gives you dates for that first Purple Star Campus designation interest meeting, which will be on March 4th, excuse me. The office hours, when the application opens, when it closes. It's just a great timeline for you kind of to look at. And then of course, those awards are announced sometime during September. And so this is I would, jot these dates down, build them into your Outlook calendar or your personal calendar, and work backwards. I'm a backwards planner, so work backwards from all these dates. Another great tool is the Purple Star Campus application rubric. I will tell you, I'm a rubric person. I love them. I have a college-age child that I tell them all the time that if your professor gives you a rubric, follow it to a T. It will help you. It gives you the ability to kind of review the criteria for each designation category, evaluate your campus activities and support for those military-connected students, documentation clarity that's needed, and then to guide you as you complete your application. Kara, we'll answer that at the end, okay? I see your question. Well, when we get to the office hours, if you could just hold for a few more minutes. The Purple Star Campus Exemplar resource, this is another one that, I mean, this is like, I don't know, Dr. Lay, she developed this. This is amazing. This resource, we're putting the link in the chat box again. It's in a PDF. It kind of walks you, basically it walks you through the complete application. It gives you examples. study it, follow
Yeah,
it.
so since we have such little time, and this is going to be explained more in the Purple Star Interest meeting on March 4th. So, as a preview, from now until the Purple Star Interest meeting, open this up and take a look, compare it to the PDF that we just mentioned, and then you will see what I've done for this year is not only did I walk every application question there is, I also aligned it to what the rubric would be. So, you have in your exemplar the question, the alignment to the rubric. So we're looking for satisfactory or distinguished. We're not looking for developing. So you can look at your drafted prompt. Does it align to satisfactory at minimum, satisfactory? And on top of that, I put exemplars of at least two, sometimes three of the responses that we accepted from last year's application. So you don't have to wonder, is this good enough? You can see right there what was accepted. And some of them are super long. Some of them are super short. It's not about quantity, guys. It's about the quality of it. So did you answer the question on how you as a campus military liaison did XYZ? Not the registrar, not the PEMS code person, you, how did you help support it? And you don't have to be directly involved, but what was your role in it? So that's what we're looking at. And so the exemplar itself, it is long, lots of pages, but you will see every single questions, including examples of what you need to do with the file uploads in terms of artifacts and the evidences and how to submit. So very good example. We didn't have that before until last school year's round, and that was something that I saw was missing because a lot of people were just like, "Well, what is a good application?" So this is the resource I built to help support you to make it as easy as possible.
I love it. Thank you, Dr. Lay. And it really is a fantastic resource for you all to have and look through. Okay, trainings and events. Again, just those meetings that are coming up. There's a great PDF document that has a calendar of events that you can click on. The Purple Star Rise, real quickly, we talked a little bit about that earlier. We'll put the link in the chat box for you to register. You can also scan that QR code. Again, a great course. It's asynchronous, so it's if you can start and stop, and it's really it's 3 hours, and so it's a fantastic course if you haven't been able to take it. I know we're nearing the end of our time today, but just a few more things. I'd love for you to share in the chat box our reflection on learning, 3 insights you've gained from the session today, maybe 2 actions you'll take to apply for the Purple Star Campus designation this year, and 1 topic that you would like to learn more about if we offered another professional learning community series. And I'd really like to highlight the 1 topic. If you could share with us, we'd love to know if there's something, if you've been through all 5 sessions, is there something we missed or something that you'd like to see added? The Padlet on our next slide that we talked about earlier was a collaboration tool. So it will exist. It will stay in its place as long as you have that link. And so there's some great interaction between some of the activities that other campuses are doing or school districts and things like that. We'll share the exemplar link again, Lydia. We'll put that in there. But the Padlet, again, is a great resource to kind of keep and maybe pin. And then lastly, we would love for you to share your feedback. We want to thank you for attending this 5th session. If you've been here for all 5 sessions, we appreciate you. We hope that they were helpful, that they were informative, that they were fun and engaging. And really, I'm just so thankful for you all taking time out of your day to be here with us. We're putting the links in the chat box to the survey and also the links to the PDF of the session slides and the recordings, as well as the previous 4 sessions. So please feel free, if you've missed something, you can go back. And then we will end our session today and we'll stay on for the office hours for you all to answer any questions that you may have. We can answer those.